Because no matter how good your product is, if the distribution system that you are doing is a system that is not capable of bringing the product into the market at the right time, right place, at the right cost, and of course the right customer, then the product is nonsense. All right. Good morning, everyone. So this short video is intended to inform or help students understand the so-called distribution management proposal. So the final requirements for the distribution management subject. So before I start discussing about each chapter, so let me give you some overview of how important distribution is. Sometimes in an organization, they would say that supply chain is the most costly part of the business. No? It spends so much money, especially in the field of distribution. Because, but we cannot remove it as part of the operation. Because no matter how good your product is, if the distribution system that you are doing is a system that is not capable of bringing the product into the market at the right time, right place, at the right cost, and of course the right customer, then the product is nonsense. Okay, so if we look at the 5 R's of distribution, it has to be followed all the time. Okay? And if your distribution system or if your distribution process is inefficient or ineffective, then product won't reach the market at the right time, and customers will get frustrated. So the main objective is to bring the product from the point of origin to the point of distribution. So in between, distribution comes in. So no matter what's the way of the company of bringing their product into their customers, it depends. Now, your job right now for this distribution management proposal is to identify a particular SMEs or small medium enterprise businesses that you would be able to help design an effective, if not efficient, way of distributing their product into the market. So that is your job for the day, for the end of the term as your final paper. Okay, remember that the objective of your distribution system or distribution proposal is to make sure that the product is available in the market. Make sure that the product reaches into the market at the right time. Okay, and the product that will reach into the market is the right one. It doesn't mean that the customer's orders phone and the phone arrives, that's the right product. Because if the phone arrives and it's not functional, it's considered not the right one. So there's so many things that you have to consider when you are going to design your own distribution management or your own distribution system. Okay. Now, there are different ways like you have to consider the speed or how fast it reaches the market. You have to consider the safety of your product. You have to consider your customer, okay, to receive the right product at the right time, and of course at the right cost. Right. Now, for today, we are going to talk about 4 different areas that we have given so much emphasis when we try to develop a distribution proposal. Okay, let me start with the executive summary. Okay? Now, there were 2 areas in executive summary. There's one is the short overview of the business. This is actually the business that you are going to choose. So it should be an existing one. You don't have to create or develop a new one. It should be an existing business with or without an existing distribution, but that's impossible. All businesses have a distribution system. Uh, it may be different from each other, but the reason why product reaches the market is because of the so-called distribution. Okay? All right. So we have two things there. Start with the overview, and the other one is the statement of a new distribution system purpose. The first one is just a short overview of the business that you're going to choose. Okay, for example, if it's like a food chain business, so just describe what's the business all about. You could probably mention about when they started, and then how they were able to get the market, and how they were able to make sure that the product is available into the right place for the customer. So just simply like a story, simply like a statement of like how this business started and how they choose and why they choose their existing distribution system. It's a short overview. Now, the second one is a statement of a new distribution system purpose. You just have to mention here what's the reason why you are about to think of a new distribution system. What's the reason for you to choose this company and as part of your or the object of your study for this distribution proposal. So you just have to simply state it there. Okay, what's typically is the reason. You can do that one. Okay, now those are it doesn't require so much too wordy. That the important there is that, like you're able to describe and you're able to state the purpose, why you choose this company, and why you have to put up. You are trying to propose a new distribution system. Okay, so that's chapter one. For chapter two, we have the so-called business description and a market analysis. So there were like 5 areas that you have to consider. Now, the very first one is the market segment served. You have to identify who is the market, who is the existing market of this particular business. Okay, so you have to mention of the different the geographic, the demographic, the psychographic, the behavioral aspect of the market segment that is served by this customer. So you have to consider the mix. Who are their customers? If it's like in a demographic aspect, it may mention like male or female. What's the age bracket? What's their behavior? All right. What normally their status probably? If they were like students or young professionals or any customers that is served by this business that you are choosing or you're about to choose. So that's a market segment, which means that if you look at the definition of market segments, like you try to do the division of the market or to divide the market, it's like for your clear understanding, market segments like a particular part or area in the market that you are trying to serve the product. Okay, so you have to state there, maybe in table. So what's the age? What are their geographic profile, their demographic profile? What's the reason for this? What's the purpose for that one? For you to be able to identify if the distribution system that is currently being used by the company or by the business is the right one. And for you to be able to think carefully what will be the best distribution system that you are going to have in order for the product to reach into this type of market. Okay? Now, we have actual market share as the second one. What is this? When we talk about market share, this is the percentage of the market that is being taken by the business. Say, for example, we're talking about the market segment of ages like 25 to 35. That's your market segment. Now, at this age, how many of those ages are buying their product? That's actual market share. Say, for example, like the total of 25 to 35 years old population is like 50,000. Among those 50,000 people who is aging 25 to 35, who among them are buying your product or buying the product of the business that So you just have to identify the market share. Is it like 10%? Is it like 20%? Is it like 30 or 50%? What's the purpose? Why we need to identify this? Because we have to know if the product reaches the entire market. Because if not, maybe the reason why their share is just 10% because the distribution system is not as effective as their competitor. Or maybe because the distribution system that they are using is just good enough for a short distance. But there's a market somewhere wherein they could probably offer the product as well. So it's time for you now to think that, hey, it's not just available, it's not just good here, it could probably good in some other place. Then you could propose a possible distribution system. So that's the reason why you have to identify who is the segment that they are serving and what's the actual market share that they have in that particular segment. Okay? Now, the other one is a product offered. So you have to identify what exactly their product is. Okay? Because in developing a distribution proposal, you have to make sure that you know what the product that they are bringing. Because it's also an object of considerations when you are trying to propose a distribution proposal. Okay, so we have three now. We have market served, we have actual market share, then we have product offered. Those are important things. Now, if you could remember your chapter 1, 2, 3, especially on chapter 3 or the module 3, the transportation. When we discuss about transportation, we have different ways of transporting the product. So you always have to consider the security, the safety, the reliability, okay, of the system. Because as I mentioned, if it's not, product may not reach, or it may reach, but it's not in good condition. So that's actually a problem. Now, after you mention what is the product offered by the customer, just simply describe the product, you have to mention about their current distribution system. What are the system, or what is the system used by the business that you have chosen? So you have to identify now, you have to mention now, what is their current distribution system? What are they currently doing to bring the product to the market? Okay, that's the number 4. And the other one is the possible issue encountered. So since they have the existing distribution system, what are the issues that they encounter using this current system that they have? Okay. Now, sir, it may be difficult for us because we cannot go. No, you don't have to go out. You can use the internet. Or if you have like a business, your family business, then you could probably make use of that one. Or probably a friend or maybe a group mates that has a particular business, then they can make use of it. Okay? All right. So it's best like you could actually use the internet. All right? Okay. So you have 5 things there on a business description or a market analysis. I have just given you a simple market analysis, but it's so powerful. Okay? Knowing the segment, knowing the market share, knowing the product, knowing the existing distribution system, and the possible issue that they encounter, you can definitely formulate now a possible proposal after knowing the history of the business. Okay? Now, we have number 3, which is the proposal itself. Okay? The first one is that what are the needed equipment or resources that the business would use for the proposal that you're about to propose to the business. Because you have to tell them that, hey, this is our proposal, and this is the equipment that you need, or these are the resources that you need. Then come to think of it. But you have to remember always, when you propose, make it sure that it's within the capability of the business. Because if you're proposing too much, too high, or maybe like too much for them, it might be a garbage. It might be useless. Why? Because they can't afford to do it. So what's the use of it proposing a so much high-end proposal if the object of your study can't afford it? Okay, so make it sure that you have to consider that the business is capable of doing it. Okay, now we have the after you have that one, you have to look at the diagram or maybe the estimated cost for the implementation. So if they have the equipment already, they have the equipment, They can buy the resources, whatever. But does it need cost for the implementation? So if they have the equipment, maybe it doesn't for the implementation. Like say, for example, if you ask them to buy a motorcycle for the delivery, uh, because the problem there before is that the product doesn't reach the market because the customer would order because they have to pay extra money for the delivery. Now, you change the distribution system by just simply providing them a free delivery. And for you to be able to lessen the cost of distribution, because that's the most important thing that we have to consider, the cost. Then what you have to do is just, instead of like getting the third party provider, you have to buy your own. Now, that's one thing that you could probably look at. Okay. Now, if buying your own in the long run, like so for example, you buy a motorcycle, then you have to hire somebody to deliver, then you have to pay that somebody. Now, since this is a small business, why not buy and then do it yourself? You're the one to deliver it. Maybe you're able to watch in the television or in some news, no, that even those well-known artists before, no, I forgot the name of some the member of a particular band before that very popular, and he's using, he's delivering his own product, and even like one artist at GMA7, he's also delivering, no? So his own product. So it's like just for you to be able to lower down the cost. So if you have the equipment, you have the resources, why let somebody drive for you if you can do it? Okay, because it's a SME. It's a small business. So especially with the current situation, then you probably have to think of ways for the business to survive. You know, or with or without pandemic, you have to start thinking of what could probably lower down the cost. Does that affect your profitability? Okay. Now you have there the estimated uh, cost of implementation. You have there the needed equipment and the estimated cost of implementations. There's another one. So you have to think of it because if it costs additional for the customer or for the business, they may not be able to accept your proposal. So you really have to think of the best possible options that would not, you know, that will not make the expenses, become like so much bloated. You have a good distribution system, but the expenses is too high. Maybe it's not that good as well. So really have to think. Now, after you were able to identify those, then you have to develop a diagram. It's like it's like an illustration on how the distribution proposal will gonna work. Like say for example, this is the company. You have to put the company there. Then you have to put an arrow. So we have here. This is our customer in different areas. And then bringing in here, we have to use like bicycle or whatever. Or it's like an illustration on how are you going to do it. So how the needed equipment works, how the actual proposal works. So that's the what we call the proposal or the diagram of the proposal. Very simple. So that when someone look into it, when you present it to the customer, when you present it to your client, the client would say, okay, it's clear that this is what I'm gonna do. Now, how much will it cost? It's there. Now, what I needed, these are what the things that you needed. Oh, I have that one available. That could probably, if you have that one available and they're not using it, they might realize that, yeah, why not use it? Okay, why not use our own? Why? As you can see, a lot of businesses. You can see their private vehicles being used and transformed into a business purpose. A lot. Maybe you've seen that one around. You could probably get an idea from there. But you have to make sure you have to create your own unique one. All right. Now, the fourth one is the proposal outcome. What is the possible effect? You have to mention that one. So, what's the possible effect on sales? What's the possible effect on customer service? It's very important. In supply chain, maybe you were able to encounter this one in your module one, so-called supply chain. It started from the supplier down to the customer service. So from the supplier, it reaches to the manufacturer. Then the manufacturer brings the product to the customer to the distribution system. So for now, a lot of ways that companies are using. But to tell you, as I keep on mentioning, big companies nowadays are into third-party distribution. So they are not the one distributing their product, as I keep on mentioning. They hire distributors to distribute their product. Because they think, and not just to think, but it's a proven that using a distributor will ease the pain of the manufacturer, will ease the pain of the owner of the business. But of course, you have to consider the cost as well when you have to take a distributor. Because distributor has discounts, all right? So you have to think of that one. You have to look into that one. You have to consider those. So what's the possible effect on the sales? You have to mention there. You have to show that the expected outcome from a 10,000 sales a day, you could probably get 50,000 sales a day because of this distribution proposal. Okay. Now, not it's not just the profit. Okay, it's not just the profit here. Since you improve your distribution, your product were able to reach the market easily, and it will be available for your customer, the much needed customer. Uh, for that reason, they will become happy. Before they will just take like more than 1 kilometer walk maybe. Before they are going to pay extra money for the delivery. But because of the new distribution system that you offer, all of those pain that the customer is experiencing will definitely be taken away. And for that reason, customers are happy. They will just tell people that, hey, this particular product that it uses, it's not just had a good taste. It's not just the price is good, but the distribution is excellent. Whenever you need it, it's available. Whenever you need it, you can have without paying. All right? Remember, when you develop the proposal, your main objective here is your customer. Okay? The customer service that you're about to take once you propose a very good distribution proposal. Okay? Don't just you know think of about profit. Don't think about sales. Just think about customer service. The first one to be considered. All right, just bringing the product into the right market, into the right time, to the right customer, and at the right cost. Definitely, customer will be happy. Remember, the object of your proposal should always be what makes the business earn profit, and most of the time, and most of all, how they will be able to satisfy their customer. Okay. So if you have any other, if you have like more clarification, just having hard time developing the proposal, just get back to this. Even during the time that you may probably finish your degree and you're able to have your wanted to have your business, look at this. Look at this video. Okay. You could probably subscribe. I have so many videos that will be posted about distribution here. So you can just always get back to it. You can just always like open it because it may refresh your mind that hey, I have to consider this. I have to look at those areas when I'm going to design what would be the best distribution system that I can use for my business. Okay. Hope that I will be able to share some time with you guys, and hope that you're able to get at least a part of this discussion, and I hope that you're able to develop your own distribution proposal. Okay, maybe for now you are proposing a proposal to a particular business. Who knows someday that you are now developing a proposal like this for your own business. Okay, see you. And if you have any other questions, you could send message to me. And if you have some project clarification, you can like post some message so that I can answer you also with how are we going to assist you in developing this distribution management. Have a good day, guys. See you.